Okay, put it in. Show us how it's done. Why not? It's almost there. Just about got it. It's like half done.
I can't put it on.
I guess I'll have to do it. Alright, so I got the old belt off of here already. I didn't get any video of that just because it's not... I might not even get a lot of video of putting the new one on because I'm kind of blocking all the points where you can see anything. But I'll see. Maybe I can get it in on the back there. But anyway, so what the book kind of has you do is set your pulleys, your variable speed, so that the belt is about the same on each pulley, about in the middle. That pulls this yoke. There's a big yoke here that is what shifts those pulleys. There's one on the outside up here, and then there's one on the back side down here, but this one stays on. So it gets that back away, and then there's a pin that goes through this little cylinder end here, and pull that out. And then on the back side of the wheel, there's a plate that comes off here, and then there's another pin that goes through here that holds the top. So I pulled those pins out, popped the yoke out, and then I was able to just work the belt out. The old belt was actually so sloppy that I was able to just pop it off the tensioner. Okay. So I don't know how this new one will be. And I got checking. So here's the new belt. The old one I don't have here. It's back at the garage. But they're 1 3/4 inches is what they're supposed to be new, which this one is. And the old one measured 1.5 inches across. So it was worn down a lot. So that would, I'm sure, explain why it was slipping. Because I think by looking at the belt, the grooves on the inside, I think they were actually starting to wear on this. Can't see very well, but there's a lip down in there. I think it was running far enough down in there that it was actually riding on them. So I am going to take, I brought a little bit of emery cloth with. I am going to take inside these pulleys and just kind of just shine them a little bit because they get a little surface rust on them, and I think that's hard on the belt too. So it shouldn't really be a big deal to put it back in. We'll pop it back in to put this yoke back on. And then as far as adjusting it, there's a whole procedure in the book. You run it one way, make sure the belt is all the way out on the pulley. If it's not, you have to adjust this turnbuckle here, and then you do the same thing with the other side. And then there is a measurement on this spring. I got to take a measurement of that and see, it's like 3 1/4 inches or something for the proper tension on here. So anyway, we will get the camera set up here maybe and see if we can get some video and try to get it back on there.
Get the engine on 3.
Try not to get this thing all full of grease because this bearing gets pretty greasy. Actually, I think I'm going to put it on the bottom one first.
The top one might be really greasy, but the bottom one's not.
The belt's a lot stiffer than the old one.
Was the old one a Wombo wheel belt?
No.
What are you talking about? Dad, this is the oil down here?
Mm-hmm.
Is that why it's oil down? So you gotta take that screen out and you're changing the oil. You gotta take the screen out.
Yep.
That's gotta be a lot of work. And we need
Of course, and I got a dark full of grease anyway.
Yeah.
It's on the back side.
Got grease on here. At least there's grass here, right there.
Yep.
And hay. Yeah. You mean Josh pull those out. We take the seeds off, clear them, feed it to the cows up here.
Mm.
We just when you get
Oh, there we go.
That's out. Half popped on.
Now, get it around the corner here. that. And then for the tensioner, it actually goes on the outside of this, not on the back side here. So, and be careful of this upper pulley, because this can come, I think, all the way off of there. So you don't want that to fall off either. But we'll put that on there. And get that back in where that's supposed to be. There. Now I can get the yoke back on there. I'm going to clean up some parts here. Clean up the pins and stuff because they were a little bit rusty. So we'll come back once I got all that done. Alright, well, I sanded them up some. I didn't want to get too aggressive in there, but I got some of the rust off. So that should be good. So now we can get this put back together. I might actually take this belt loose so I can push this in. And then we'll get the belt, or the yoke on here. So there's the head of the pin that I'm pushing through here. It's got a cotter pin in it, and then it should come out right up here. If I can get it in there and get video at the same time, but we'll try. There it comes. There we go. I gotta tap it through a little more, but you can see it come out there. And then, so there's these ears on here that this bearing shaft, one on each side, that sits on to hold this bearing steady. And then one more pin in here, and that'll be in there.
Look
I got to get this belt maneuvered around here a little bit so I can move the pulleys to get this lower pin to line up. So we'll come back once I get that set in there because I'm running out of battery. There we go. I just had to get the belt. I popped it off the lower one so I could get it moved to the outside of here so this would move more. So now I just got to get it pulled back around this lower one and get that in place. Fits a lot tighter, that's for sure, which is a good sign. I guess that's what we want. I'm going to probably have to fire it up and move this cylinder a little bit so that I can get this belt to go back down in there further now, because it's actually out. The cylinder must have moved some while it was sitting. Must have bled off a little oil or something. We'll fire it up and I'll get that moved. We'll come back when we got it on, because this is just going to be a lot of working stuff around to get this on here. Alright, so I'm back now. I fired it up. You got to be careful when doing that, because when this belt's not in there, you don't want to cut it up because this pulley will be spinning. So to make sure that it's out of the way, it's kind of a tight fit there. But I got this one spread now. So, and of course it brings this one closer together. But I should be able to get enough slack now to get this around here. See if my battery holds out on the camera. There.
Both on?
Now I just got to get this on the other side of here. Okay, we're back with a fresh battery. So I got the belt all on there. And yeah, the old one was definitely worn out, because this one was a lot tougher to get on than the old one was to take out. And I had to loosen this tensioner pulley a lot to get the pulley back under here. So now I'm going to set that tension. So the book says to have your pulleys, your belt on the center of both of these adjustable pulleys. So that's where we got it now. They're both got the same spread in them, so the belt should be pretty much centered. And then I don't know if you can see, but from there's a plate in the bottom of the spring in here. I don't know if I can get in here to show you. So from this bottom, where the spring bottoms out, to the top up here should be 3¼ inches. And right now we're over 4, so I've got some tightening to do yet. So we'll get that cranked down and set where it should be, and then we'll see if we're coming out to the edge here or not like it's supposed to be. And another thing that I noticed on here, so you got this bearing here with a grease fitting on it to grease the bearing. Well, I got looking at this, so there's this exact same setup for this lower pulley on the back side. And I've never even looked back here. So I got looking when I had this apart. Well, there's a grease fitting on the bearing back here also. I always kind of thought that's what this one was for, but looking in the book, this is just for the slide. And I don't think this fitting has ever been greased the whole life of this machine, because I took a screwdriver back there and scraped the grease off, and the whole grease fitting was covered in orange paint. So I was kind of looking back there, and I don't think I can get on it even with a straight on grease fitting. But I think my dad's got one grease coupler that goes on from the side. I might be able to get that in there. So we are going to try to get some grease in there, and hopefully it's not too late, so that bearing, that'll still do some good for that bearing. But I mean, I don't think the bearing is out yet, but if it hasn't had grease since 1977, it's probably on its way out. So that's not good, because that looks like that could be really hard to get at that one. This one's pretty easy. But so anyway, I'm going to start wrenching this down, and then we'll come back when we got it adjusted like it's supposed to be. All right, well, I got it adjusted up. It said 3¼ inch between the washers, so I'm assuming that means there's a washer on each end of the spring. So I kind of figured in for that measurement on there. So that's where I got it set at. So we'll fire it up and have Jordan run it back and forth, and we'll see if it's working. All right, well, I got the belt all on and the tensioner set. I've been messing around trying to set these sheaves, I guess. One thing that messed me up was to set the lower one. The book shows the adjustment is the end of the cylinder adjustment right here, and I couldn't figure out there's nothing there. Well, it's across on the very back where the cylinder hooks to, the little cylinder that separates these. And the other adjustment is here on this turnbuckle for the upper one. So I've got the upper one set. I'll turn my light on here so we can see in there a little bit better. So they are supposed to be set so that the belt is flush with the outside. And this one pretty much is. The lower one, well, it's in now, of course, but that one I don't have quite as close. It's riding in a little bit, which it kind of looks like the original one. Also didn't ride right out to the edge. But the adjustment on the back side of that cylinder is pretty much out of thread. I don't really have, I've already passed the bolt being flush with the adjustment nut back there, so I don't really want to go anymore. I don't think it's going to hurt anything because you have the tensioner in there, so that's going to absorb if they're not quite even, I would think. And let me know in the comments, I guess, if you're a little more familiar with it. Maybe I have something else I don't have adjusted quite right, but I got the tensioner spring set where it's supposed to be and everything. And I know it says in the book when you put in a new belt, after so much runtime, recheck all that again. So I'll go back through and check everything. But for right now, I think we're just going to get everything greased. I got to try to get that lower bearing on that lower shaft greased since it's never been done. So we'll work on that a little bit and get some grease in there. But anyway, we're probably going to wrap it up for this video. One more thing is we have a new to us piece of equipment that's going to be coming to the farm. I'm not going to say what it is yet. I'll have you guys leave that in the comments, what you think it might be. Just another equipment addition. It's definitely not new, but I think it's going to be a nice piece to have around here. I got I think a pretty good deal on it. It does need a little bit of work, but I think for what I paid for it, it's going to be a nice addition around the farm. So drop it in the comments what you think we might have picked up, and we'll show you what it is in the next video. So anyway, hope you enjoy this video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.